Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase, pricing, and availability questions regarding this watch. And this watch is a 1 of 99 40mm platinum FP Journe Chronometre A Resonance Ruthenium. The Ruthenium series launched in 2001, and it was 5 different models, each made in 99 copies, all with 40mm cases, ruthenium-coated white gold dials, and additions that were built out over a period of years. So the Resonance, which you see right here, part of that set of 5 made in 99 copies, but it took from 2001 to 2005 to actually build out all of these ruthenium accented resonance chronometers. This one is extremely early with a 01 code on the case back. That's the year the case was made, but also it is one of the first 10 in terms of the series sequence, so a very early build watch. You can see that these are part of the brass movement era of Journe. It doesn't look that way, but that is actually ruthenium coated brass rather than rhodium plated. The dial, of course, white gold, ruthenium coated to give it that dark, sort of grievous New York scowl, one might say. 40 millimeters in diameter. They were only made in 40 millimeters. The ruthenium never in the 38 millimeter or 36 millimeter case size. From lug tip to lug tip, it is 47.9 millimeters. And then in terms of the profile of the watch, it is actually quite thin. So you can see this is a watch that's only 8.9 millimeters thick. And old school Journe, as he used to consider thin cases to be sort of a signature of his designs. Not necessarily anymore, but back in the day he was quite proud of it. On my wrist, you can see that thinness, 8.9 millimeters, sliding easily under a cuff. I could recommend this watch for wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference. It'll slide easily underneath any kind of a sleeve. We'll do it down the barrel right here, and then over the top, which does exaggerate the width of the watch. It fits quite well. Strap's a nice piece. You can see here, a little bit unusual. This is a Watchbox Jean Rousseau strap from back in the day. And you can see up top, we have large rectangular scale alligator leather with calfskin on the bottom. And this particular strap may be one that we use for shipping between continents and countries. When it's not possible to ship alligator, we often have a synthetic gator strap that is shipped for display purposes, and I believe this is one of those. So you can see, we will ship it to you if you wish to be kind to alligators, but make no mistake, we will make sure that a true gator strap is included. It will be aesthetically very similar, where we have a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs and the use of a curved spring bar so that the strap has freedom of movement. It's not impinged in its motion by the flank of the case. Pull tab spring bars allow you to pop the strap out without any tools if you want to swap straps easily. Of course, it is cut and sewn by hand, despite being partially synthetic. And you can see we have an FP Journe platinum buckle. Fascinating to see some of these old school internally hallmarked buckles. And by the way, this is one of the French-made Eleanor cases. From the earliest days of Journe's brand until about mid-2008, Eleanor of France made the cases. And you can see the hallmark as well. That's the French double hallmark, and then the Eleanor maker's mark right there. But because the watch was built up in Switzerland, you also have a Swiss precious metal hallmark there. Taking a look in profile, blended lugs, the domed case back and domed bezel both have this little flange that overlaps and defines the mid case. All polished here. You can see that the case band turns almost 90 degrees down into the taper of the lugs. We have Journe's distinctive, unbranded, double dimple knurled crown. That's actually a flyback mechanism. This isn't used for winding or setting here. This is used for winding or setting, and it's a very similar crown as well. Now, you could set these two 12-hour time zones independently. It is a dual-time watch, though that's not really the point. More on that in a moment. Taking a quick look at the dial, you can see we have these stainless steel polished frames for 2 dials that are whitened sterling silver, and then the dial base, which is media blast. It's actually made of gold, but then it's ruthenium coated to give it this dark sort of storm cloud gray aesthetic. It's a beautifully balanced dial. You can see up at the top 1 power reserve. Even though we do have 2 barrels and power reserves on the back, power reserve is about 42 hours manually wound, and it's a 3 hertz beat rate. And taking a look at the movement, you can see this is the caliber 1499, which describes its size in French lean, but also the year work started on it. So 14 is the size in French lean, 1999 is the year work started. And then if you take a look at the movement, you can see it's perfectly symmetrical from the crown wheel ratchet wheels atop 2 barrels, drivetrains, escapements, and then balances. Now, these things are not physically connected. The only common thread is that they sit on the same base plate, but there's no gearing connection. There's also no sprung connection between them, unlike something along the lines of Arm and Strom. That is spring resonance. This is acoustic resonance. This is a more difficult thing to achieve. When there's very little connection, this is the same principle that causes metronomes or pendulums in proximity to synchronize to each other. So what happens here is they're both beating at 3 hertz, they're both 6-position adjusted, they're both free-sprung for durability and precise adjustment. But then you have this rack and pinion system. See how there's a rose gold pinion screw, and then there's a rack next to it, and those things are beautifully finished. This is all executed to a much higher standard than a conventional Journe watch, especially from this period. Pride was taken here. Once you have adjusted the distance between these two balances, ideally, if everything's set up perfectly, which includes the hairsprings, regulation, all of that, they will start to beat in opposition. So not in parallel like this, but like this in opposition. And it's mutually reinforcing. So because you could see the hairsprings are opposite in orientation but identical in geometry, and these wheels are beating in opposition, if due to the motion or angle of the watch one slows down, the other will speed it up. And they will mutually reinforce and self-correct as a result. So it is a resonance chronometer, and they should stay coupled to each other and deviate relative to each other by no more than 5 seconds per 24 hours. Now it takes about 7 to 10 minutes for resonance to gain purchase on these balances, so you'll wind up with seconds hands that are synced together but not parallel. They're not perfectly matched. So you use this little flyback action down here, just like that. You got to give it a good pull, and it will synchronize those two hands. So now they are both coupled by resonance and beautifully oriented in the same direction, which is aesthetically pleasing. The movement is gorgeous. I normally don't say that about Journe movements of this era because they tend to be crude, but you can see here that the anglage is truly mirrored, and elements like the mirror polishing of the rack and pinion adjustment mechanism are a cut above, whether it's because this is the resonance chronometer, a flagship piece, or because it's also Ruthenium series, I cannot say, but it is deeply impressive to a degree that you don't often see on Journe movements of this period, which can be rustic to the point that you can actually see machining marks on the bevels. Not here. We have stripes across the movement, solarization on the crown wheel and the ratchet wheels, black polished screw heads, and engine turning on the base plate. 6-position adjustment, free sprung, 3 hertz, physically large and massive balances to make up for the lack of a high beat rate, and then a power reserve indicator that moves opposite the expected direction. So like a marine chronometer, most Journe watches that feature chronometre in the name or the concept will actually indicate 0 when fully wound. The idea is it represents 0 hours since the last full winding, and that's important because a marine chronometer would need to be wound exactly 24 hours from its last winding for consistency at the same time of day. So you needed to know how many hours run since the full winding, not how many hours left until it stops. So when this is fully wound, it indicates 0. 30 meters water resistant, but given the age and the value, I recommend you not test the theory. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.